Just going to get rid of the elephant in the room. I know he said early spring. He didn't say where. He just said it was going to happen. I'm sorry that it's cold outside, all right? I work with social workers with DIFUS. I write the child summaries of kids that are going up for adoption. I'll have a poem or two at the end about that. So. This one is called Other Lies. I think they limit the amount of parking outside the emergency room just so we can determine how much of an emergency it really is. This is called The Ides of March. I'm going to try and do different ones for the people who were at the reading yesterday, so they don't have to hear the same stuff. The Ides of March. Imagine you're at the top of your game. Maybe you just received a job promotion or were accepted into a program at school. Pretend that the person you always wanted to date wanted to also. You feel good. You walk your dog more than around the block in a park. The sun's a little sunnier. The ground isn't wet and doesn't have any worms. It's the exact middle of March, unusual, about 67 degrees. Your town is having a military parade because the president declared the end of the war. Everything is all right. You stop at different bars along Main Street and get trashed with your friends. But the good kind of trash. You're not feeling sick. You can even drive home, and it doesn't feel wrong. A cop pulled someone else over, and you laugh at how close it came to everything going wrong. Don't drink and drive, kids. It's the exact middle of March, and hardly anyone is going to remember this day. Not even you, but every sophomore will read about Caesar, and they will read about Brutus and perhaps learn that the fault, dear Brutus, lies not in our stars, but in ourselves, and that maybe the good days only feel so good because they're the ones that hardly matter. So yesterday I did a dog poem. You guys are going to get the cat poem. Yeah. But it's about a cat that died in my house, so it's sad. Sorry. It's all right. I turned it around at the end, and it becomes about me. So you get the egotism at the end. So. The cat in the room with 3 legs. When the UPS guy comes, the house settles like at night when no one comes to the door. He brings the ashes of one of our cats in an envelope that looks like it could just be the book of poems I ordered. And now today brings me back to 2 weeks earlier when I had to decide to remove your leg because of your weak heart. And there are always doubts in any of the decisions that I have to make about anything. And sometimes it doesn't feel right reading these words in this order. I edit myself on the spot, and afterwards, after things have been said, it's easy to read old words in front of a group of strangers. But it gets harder to write new words for the new cats in our room, or the person who wakes up in this bed every morning. This one, it's called On TV We Watch the Bridge Collapse. On TV we watch the bridge collapse, and my sister and I try to imagine what it's like to actually kick out your car window, climb through concrete slabs, return to the remains of the bridge, or into the water to swim to shore. The closest we ever came to a situation like that was on a green couch in our basement that was actually a sinking ship, and if you touched the concrete floor, the sharks had their way with you. We may never be on TV because of a collapsing bridge, but I know and she knows after kicking out the back window to grab the other person's hand. So I make the Idiom magazine. I got a bunch of free copies for everyone at the end. Come see me and I'll get them to you. Oh, thank you. That wasn't a poem. So I'm going for my MFA up at William Patterson, and part of my thesis are these collection of museum poems, poems that take place in a museum. So this was called the Museum of Dirt. More of an art gallery than a museum. It's in the middle of New York City, and if you didn't go into the deli down the street and find a brochure advertising for it, you wouldn't even know it was there. A small white sign that says gallery is the only thing outside of the building, indicating that the door is open and it's not just apartments up the narrow staircase and down that dark hallway to all the dirt. A small desk has pamphlets about the exhibit, which are held by a plastic holder from Staples, and someone, probably an art student, is there ready to answer the one question that every person asks: why does this exist? The only room after the entrance is separated by a clear plastic wall about waist high and is filled with a dark brown dirt. It covers the entire floor of the gallery, and you can't walk on it, you just look. The art student doesn't understand either when we ask why this exists, but explains that he waters it daily to make it look moist and rakes it every 4 hours so that the dirt is smooth. Weeds have to be pulled on the weekend. The artist is very particular on how this exhibit looks and checks on it 2, 3, sometimes 5 times a week to assure its upkeep. Patrons stare in it and feel strange. Being on the 2nd floor of a building in the middle of New York City with all this dirt, they've never felt that before, and that may be the whole point. So I'll finish up with this one. This one's called DeAndre, based on one of the kids that I write about at DYFS. Their stories always start sad, but they're getting adopted. That's why I'm writing about them, so they always end up happy. DeAndre. DeAndre is one of those foster kids who had a lot of issues growing up. Born addicted to coke, heroin, and some methadone from a clinic, shows that at least his mom was trying. He was diagnosed with autistic disorder with diffuse developmental retardation, but he's made great progress in his early intervention programs. DeAndre taught the other children in his school how to zip up their coats, and now they're all very excited. His foster parent admitted that DeAndre liked music, and she could hear his CD player go on at night long after he's been put to bed. He learned something that most don't learn till well after high school, when they realize that it's just not working out like we want it to. He learned to not care that he's been put to bed, and even though it doesn't seem appropriate to listen to music at 1 in the morning, press play, DeAndre. Listen to your Christmas music all night long, no matter what month it is. Yeah. Thank you.